All right, there's a surgeon out there named Sergio Canavero who claims that he transplanted a head onto a live monkey. Now, you might wonder what kind of head. It turns out it was a monkey head, as you might expect. All right, so let's get this straight. He cut off the head of a monkey and then cut off the head of another monkey and then reattached head number one to monkey number two, right? Let's be honest about what this dude did. He's cutting the heads off monkeys and he reattached one of them. Well, what about the second monkey head and the first monkey body? Were they just discarded? Did he send them to Planned Parenthood for body part? Well, what did he do with the second monkey head? Now, I'm reading a story out of the Daily Mail. This ambitious scientist caused a media storm last year when he revealed his plans to attempt a human head transplant, saying it could be a cure for complete paralysis. All right, now follow me here. Follow the logic. Remember, there was monkey number one and monkey number two. We ended up with one head, head number one on body number two. Now, how does this work with humans? All right, follow me here. So you have human number one, the patient, and you have human number two, the donor. Okay? You cut the heads off both of them. You take head number one from the patient and you reattach it to body number two, the donor. You then discard head number two and body number one. Are you following me so far? You see where this is going? So the transplant industry is going to need some donors. Right now in China, the donors are called Falun Gong members who practice meditation, which is illegal in the communist China regime. So they get arrested and then they have their organs harvested. Now, if you don't understand that this is happening, I'm sorry that you're not aware of reality. This has been going on for a very long time. I remember telling this to a doctor friend of mine one time, an MD, and MDs are the most ignorant people ever. And they said, no way that's happening. That's a human rights violation. Really? What, you think communists don't violate human rights when it's in their interest to do so? So organ harvesting has been going on in China for a very long time. And if you want a liver, or if you want a kidney, guess where you can buy them? Black market in China. You ever wonder how Steve Jobs, remember he had pancreatic cancer? And he needed was it a pancreas? No, it was, or a liver? What? I don't remember if it was a liver or a pancreas that he needed. Anyway, he needed an organ bad. And all of a sudden, what do you know? He got moved up to the top of the list. Mr. Steve Jobs moved up to the top of the list, got his new organ. Where do you think that organ came from? Media never really told you, did they? Probably came from some Falun Gong member in China, which means it's a meditative organ, sadly. So the transplant industry, which is mired in crazy Frankenstein horror stories that are true, now wants to, transplant heads to, to give people longer life or something. Transplant heads. And there's a picture in this article. It shows a monkey with his head sewn on. It's Frankenstein. It's pretty creepy stuff. So they're going to need a lot of donors. Where are they going to get these donors? Donor bodies. They're going to get them from China. China right now, China exports a lot of manufactured goods, a lot of food products actually as well. Before very long, they're probably going to export donors. And maybe the donors won't even know they're donors. They're going to be told, hey, you got a green card. You're going to America. You get to America, off with your head. Look, we have someone else here. Oh, look, it's Mr. Rockefeller or some other elite globalist. Oh, look, it's Bill Gates. Can you imagine Bill Gates' head on some little China boy's body? And imagine him living another 100 years and screwing with the planet even more. Vaccines for everyone. And after 100 years, I can buy another China boy body. That's the kind of way these globalists think. This is where this is going. You see, a lot of people read this kind of news and they say, oh, isn't it interesting? he transplanted a monkey head. That's kind of cool. It's like medical technology. Monkey head transplant. They don't realize this is going into human head transplants. And when it does, you're going to need human donors. All right, so there's a movie called The Island that you need to see, starring Ewan McGregor. You know, Obi-Wan Kenobi from one of the Star Wars movies. Ewan McGregor. And in this movie, The Island is a place where they grow clones of human clients who are famous, wealthy people out in the real world. And they donate some cells, and then this biotech company grows a human clone inside this giant domed construct, which they call the island. And then they grow this body solely for the purpose of providing organ transplants to the paying client that lives in the real world. But more importantly, they have a narrative for all the people that are living in the island, and this is great. Because the people wonder why we can never leave, they have this great story. They tell them, they say, hey, look, there was a nuclear war. The whole planet is bathed in radiation, and it's not safe to leave. But then they say, every once in a while, we're going to draw a lottery ticket, and whoever wins the lottery gets to go and retire to this radiation-free tropical island. This is what they tell them all. You'll see this in the movie. It's awesome. You got to watch it. And so people line up to play the lottery, to see if they can win, and they can win their dream vacation, and they can get off the island, and they can go to this tropical paradise. But of course, the lottery is rigged, and the, quote, winner of the lottery is actually whichever client in the real world suddenly had liver failure and needs a new liver. So if you, quote, win the lottery, they take you upstairs, where medical robots with lasers slice and dice you, take your organs, and then ship them out to the client for transplants in the real world. That's the movie in a nutshell. Sorry if there's a spoiler in there, but it's still worth watching. It's a great film. Well, this day is coming. It might not be clones. It might be just, blood compatible people who have the same blood type and other factors, so that they wouldn't be rejected by the human head. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this? It might not even happen in the United States. You might have to actually go to some other country where this is legal. Panama. Let's say Panama has a head transplant facility. It's okay there. It's legal. I'm theorizing. And so you go to Panama, and then they bring some tourists from China. Chop off their heads, chop off your head, attach your head to their body, and do away with all the rest, I guess. This is what's going to come of this. You got to understand that people in medicine who are into this kind of, not medicine, who are into, let's say, biotechnology, they have no ethics. They're growing human organs inside animals like pigs. Right now, this is happening right now today, so that they can raise the pigs to produce organs for human transplants. And they tell themselves, we're saving lives. That's what they tell themselves. They don't think about the pig that they're going to have to sacrifice and murder in order to take the organ for the human, who probably snorted too much coke and destroyed his liver from excess partying, right? So the biotech industry has no ethics at all. Whatever makes money is fine with them. And then you've got the globalists who are really desperately trying to figure out how to live forever. And I've often said that a natural death, a human lifespan, is the greatest gift to us all, because we don't want globalists to live forever. The fact that they die eventually is the only thing that allows humanity to have new ideas. Literally, you have to have the old generation die off to make room for new ideas and new innovations. But these people want to live forever so they can dominate humankind forever. Can you imagine if you took Hillary Clinton's head and put it on a China girl, and she lived another 100 years and kept running for president over and over and over again? Can you imagine? Or take a Bush family member and do the same thing. Put their head on an Indian boy who's 15, and they can keep running Halliburton or what, their corporate interests. They can keep running bomb manufacturing companies for the next 100 years and causing more wars and dropping more bombs. This is the kind of thing that they want to figure out how to do. They want to live forever. They're afraid of dying, which is a very immature thing, by the way. Anybody who understands the cosmos and spirituality and free will and consciousness shouldn't be afraid of dying. It's a normal process. It's not like your life. It's not like your consciousness just ends. I mean, just the biology stops living, but the consciousness continues on. But they don't understand that, so they're terrified of dying and they want to live forever. You know, what if you have all these globalists, you know, that figure this out and they just start lining up people to chop off their heads and take their bodies? That's what this is coming to. So this is going to be portrayed as a way to help people who are physically handicapped or paralyzed. That's how this is going to be sold to you. But what it's really about is allowing globalists to take over the bodies of quote, donors, you know, to murder people to take their bodies. That's what this is really all about. Isn't that kind of horrifying? All right, well, stay up to speed on all of this kind of thing at newstarget.com. That's one of my websites. You can also check out medicine.news and get more of these real-time or near real-time podcasts at healthrangerreport.com. Thanks for listening.